Friday morning, we got up bright and early so that we could catch the bus and still have enough time left in the day to hit all the things that we wanted to see. We couldn't check in right away, so we got some bagels at Black Seed Bagels that has an entrance attached to the Ace Hotel. Dave got some kind of, I think it was like a chorizo egg and cheese sandwich.
Look at those.
And I absolutely adore salmon on a bagel of any kind, so I obviously got a salmon bagel sandwich with some scallion cream cheese. From there, after we finished our bagel sandwiches, we went through the side entrance to the Ace Hotel in Brooklyn, where we were going to stay for the weekend. It's a beautiful hotel that has locations from Brooklyn here in New York to Australia, Greece, Japan, and Canada. Also, while walking around and looking in the lobby, we saw this horrific cabinet with, like, mannequin feet holding it up. They had a photo booth in the lobby near the elevators, but we didn't end up using it. Beside it, also on the way to the elevators, they had this big exhibition of work by New York artist Kiana Parks. And there were a lot of what I think are originals here, so it was really cool to see that they had such a big display of fine art available, and they even had this nice big plaque where you can read about Kiana and their work. We left our luggage with the front desk and went down the street to the record shop nearby, which is called Finer Sounds. This is one of the things that Dave had been most looking forward to, is browsing their vinyl selection, so I was really excited for him to go here and be able to shop. This was all back in late February, so there was still some snow on the ground actually. Even though the shop was smaller physically than we were used to in our area, there actually was still a really good selection according to Dave. He also noted, with the benefit of hindsight after our trip and after having gone to quite a few record stores in Brooklyn, this one actually had the widest selection for what he was looking for. He usually picks up Japanese, bossa nova, and jazz, and ambient records. After shopping, it was finally time to head up to our room.
Wow.
I actually first heard about the Ace Hotel because of their collaboration with Traveler's Notebook, but the Ace Hotel in Kyoto, which was nearby the Traveler's store in Kyoto as well, was a bit too expensive for us to book on our honeymoon, so I resolved that one day we could come to the location in America. And so when we were looking into places to go for our anniversary trip, Dave found that there was actually an Ace Hotel in Brooklyn, New York, and we were hoping to get a room with a record player, which does come, I believe, in all or most maybe of the Ace Hotel rooms in the Japanese locations. However, our hotel had an acoustic guitar in it. We did request to swap out for a record player, but the front desk was understandably like, maybe we might be able to get one if there's a room that frees up that the people, don't have a preference either way. So unfortunately, we were unable to get that. But regardless, the room was really clean and nice, and honestly, like a lot, higher class than hotels that we normally stay in for conventions and things like that. So it was a really nice stay and an opportunity to go, someplace fancy. After resting for a little bit, we headed to Japan Village. I really loved the huge koi fish mural on the outside of one of the entrances. Where we entered, there was Sunrise Mart on the right, which was Japanese grocery, and then on the left there was the food court with all the different stands. It took around an hour to get from our hotel to Japan Village, and so I didn't want to buy too many things, though I was really tempted by this cute cockatiel oven mitt and these cute baby cat cafe themed tea bags. I was also really tempted by all the mochi and mitarashi dango, but I wanted to wait till dessert. We were thirsty from the walk though, so we grabbed some drinks. We then ventured up to the second floor, which had the Bandai store and the Daiso. After getting off the elevator, you're greeted by these arcade machines and this cool facade of a traditional Japanese house. And the book off here had the most amount of figures that I've ever seen. I've gone to several book offs. Usually I go to the one in Manhattan where I get some old magazines and craft books. And I've been to ones in Japan as well, looking for similar or maybe like game consoles and things like that. But this particular book off in Japan Village seemed to have the largest amount of figures, whether those be Nendoroids or little gachapon figures or just straight up like prize statues and things like that I had ever seen at a book off. The books they did have were actually just manga. They also had a great selection of old games and game consoles, including the Super Famicom and also some Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 consoles. Going back outside of the book off, they have the Soribashi, or red railed bridge, as well. And towards the back of the room, going towards the Daiso, there are some little claw machines. I thought these little fluffy sheep ones were cute. They also had these ones, which were little stitched together ghostly cats, I guess, and fluffy like tigers and bunnies, which I thought were really adorable as well. I was really excited to see what was in this Daiso. I had been to the one near Mitsuwa in Edgewater, New Jersey, but not this one.
Am I gonna watch this footage back and regret not buying all these things?
This location actually had a lot of stationery items, such as these notebooks, a lot of different types of pens and highlighters, as well as general desk implements like this electric eraser.
They have an A5 size gridded report pad.
Since Daiso is a Japanese store, it has things in these international sizes like that A5 notepad and this B6 cold laminate sheet. I thought these were interesting. There's super small labels. You can stamp on them if you have little stamps that are not labeled already. A tiny little like kind of roll-on-esque notebook, and then any type of shape or size of label that you would want, from clear to white to craft. I did not add these to my cart at the time, and I'm kicking myself. I'm always sad that there's not a Daiso closer to where I live in Maryland, because I love these organizers, but I'm never close enough to one where I can save that much room in my bags to take all these like containers and things home. They also have this assortment of pencil cases. Again, they have the A5 and B6 sizes of pencil case, as well as some really cute ones. They had these glue sticks and adhesives, as well as some correction tape and little scissors and things. I really like their display cases for things like little gashapon figures, as well as these tubular cases for Nendoroid and Nendoroid dolls, or again, little gashapon figures and things like that. Again, I can't really find these in other stores, especially in the different sizes that they have them, so I really wish that there was a Daiso closer by. Of course, I always have to look at the sticker selection, but I wasn't super interested in the ones that I saw here, partially because I knew I was going to be going to Loaf on paper later. After checking out at Daiso, we headed to the Bandai Namco cross store that had just opened. It was actually bigger than I thought it would be and had a really cool selection of different Bandai products. They even had the gashapon photo booth like the ones in Japan. I'm really picky about the gashapon that I roll, and even though I loved these irritated Meowmint figures, as well as these little ghost figures, I stayed my hand and used willpower for once. I was really surprised that they had a stand here for their Sunstar products, like the dot pens and the layered stamps. I wasn't expecting that. I know it's nerd sacrilege that I'm not a big Super Mario fan, but this collection of items that are like stationary items and little lifestyle items that were designed after Super Mario and Pikmin were super adorable. I was even tempted to pick some up for myself because I just liked the design so much. They also had a few arcade machines in the back, which I thought was really fun. We stepped outside to explore other buildings in Industry City, which I did not realize was a whole complex of buildings with different shops in them. And we discovered that Hi Fi Vinyl and Stereo was right by where we were, so we went to check it out. The shop itself looked really cool, and it seemed like they were preparing for some kind of live show that was going to take place at the bar in the back. So we just looked around, and there were a bunch of cassettes, as well as some DVDs, VHSs, and CDs. So I guess they sold a lot more media than just vinyl, which I thought was really fun and cool. Unfortunately, since they were split amongst different media, they actually did not have a huge selection, especially of the types of records Dave was looking for. It was a nice chilly evening, so we stepped outside to explore some of the area outside of the Japan Village building, and I loved this izakaya sign and all of the paper lanterns that they had everywhere. It really did feel like there was some kind of Japanese street festival going on, or that it was like a slice of Japan that had just been dropped into Brooklyn, New York, so that was really cool. We finally stopped for dinner at one of the shops in the ground floor of Japan Village, and I got the chicken katsu curry, which was pretty delicious. So this is everything I picked up from Daiso, and believe it or not, I was exercising a lot of willpower, so don't judge. This is also just my day one haul. Dave got me all of these things and the rest of my hauls as gifts, as it was our combo anniversary and my late birthday. The first up is this cute little tape dispenser. Dave has needed one forever, so he went ahead and picked this up at Daiso. I also got this cute little cat head and cat paw resin mold, and these metallic zebra brush pens. I figured they would come in handy for things like dressing envelopes and making fake calligraphy for different journaling things. And I just love the light metallic sheen of it, and I liked the shade of green. It didn't bleed through too much even on this gridded note paper that I got. I got this nice frosted plastic card case that can hold business card sized cards, and I thought I could put like a deck of cards in there. I also got this divided case for the shavings of my Neocolor 2 crayons, and this case for some of my larger Nendroid faceplates that wouldn't fit in my normal case. I picked these up thinking that they were regular stickers, but upon closer inspection I realized they're actually decal stickers, and it's without water, so you can just rub them on something and it'll transfer to there. So I tried it on one of the dividers that I brought with me, and I thought this cat in front of the window would look really cute on this window pane divider that I had. And also the decal won't stick well to all materials, and as you can see I accidentally scratched it a little bit even while I was applying it and kind of trying to test if it would come off, but I think it looks really nice. I got these stickers for my friend who travels a lot, and they're more her style, but I don't think she'll use the decal. I did end up picking up that B6 sized cold laminate sheet because I thought it would be really convenient to make dry erase player aids or DM aids for some of my TTRPGs. I tested the zebra brush pens on this earlier, but I got the sticky notes that were this large size because I really liked the idea of having this whole sheet as an, kind of add-on to whatever notebook I was working in. And also, here I am testing the stickiness of the adhesive, so we'll see if this falls down anytime during the rest of the haul. I got a bunch of these cute little scissors with cover for myself and my friends who do fiber arts on the go. They're always convenient to have. I really needed a pencil case for my nice colored pencils, So I got a few kinds. I got this one, which was nice and clear and slim, and then I got this one, which is larger, and I thought that, and it's also double-sided, so I thought that I could fit obviously more pencils in there, and it has a smaller compartment for maybe like an eraser or something like that. I had brought a lot of pencils with me, so I was really hoping that these would fit between the two pencil cases that I'd bought. So the small compartment wasn't as useful as I thought it might be, but I did manage to get a fair amount of these pencils in here, and I had a few left over, so I figured I could put them in the slimmer, the more clear pencil case. Thankfully, they all fit in pretty perfectly, and they were a lot more protected than they were in the case that I had them all in before, so I was a lot more confident that I could safely take these home without the leads all breaking and everything while I traveled home. The next morning, we made sure to stop by Stumptown Coffee for our breakfast. I always really loved Stumptown Coffee, and I discovered them actually on a trip to Portland over 10 years ago. And I went to the original Stumptown, or one of the first Stumptown coffee roasters. And ever since, they started distributing through Whole Foods. New Stumptown cafes have been popping up here and there on the East Coast as well. So I'd always been to the Soho one, but I had never ventured over to this Brooklyn one before. So it was really cool to see another Stumptown cafe. On a previous trip to New York, actually in the Soho location, I picked up a Stumptown cold drink cup that I absolutely love, and I've been using it so regularly that I was thinking of picking up another one. I really like this kind of vaguely subway-themed drink and stand area that they had over here. After coffee, on our way to Loaf on Paper, we saw this absolutely adorable cat who is so beautiful that she attracted a gaggle of fans.
That's not real.
It is. Her name is Oz. Hi, Oz. Hi, Oz.
Hello, pretty thing. Continuing down the same road, we ran into this wonderful store called Berry Home. Inside were a bunch of beautiful dried flower arrangements, ceramics, and little home goods that reminded me of stores in Japan with these really well-curated home goods. I really loved this wreath, but I didn't get it because I was afraid of damaging it on the way home. However, I did pick up one of these whale shark chopstick rests, and also this pair of wooden kitty cat chopstick rests. They were also burning some kind of wonderful smelling incense, and I picked some of that up too. They had all these precious little arrangements and plants for sale as well, but unlike my Apothecaria witch, I do not have a green thumb for indoor plants, so I didn't pick any up. Finally, we reached Loaf on Paper after many little detours and distractions. Walking inside, it was really crowded, but it didn't feel super packed or like I was unable to shop. In these little corners between the cafe and the stationery shop, they had these nice little cups, thermoses, teas, and preserves. Heading towards the stationery store, there's this large wall of postcards and stickers and little prints on the left, and I really loved these ones in particular.
That is cute.
Oh, it's stickers. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, throw it in there.
And then I gotta get this one.
Uh-huh.
You should get one too.
Yeah.
Opposite the postcard wall, there's another wall full of stickers and post-it notes and little notebooks and things like that.
Ooh, that's really cute. Look at this teeny tiny Nahi pouch. I didn't know they made them this small. Oh. I'm a wreck. Indoor cat.
That's totally me. I want that one. Oh, cute.
Whoa. It's like a circle stamp, but it's got numbers. I guess it's like a round calendar stamp.
Clear stamps.
These are beautiful. Here, move over. Oh, babe, they have ND.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Here's the blank one. A5.
The like cotton notebook.
Yeah.
And it plays beautifully flat.
Look at this.
On this wall, they had shelves full of pens, inks, and this over here was their pen testing mat. I really love the design and layout of the stationery store. The skylight with the flowers on the strings at the top was so beautiful.
I like that calm Toyo color.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Sailor Hokoro.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a test pad. Or wait, where are the test pads? Oh, they're flagged like these.
They also have a nice selection of traveler's notebook, refills, bands, and pen holders, things like that.
Okay.
This wall of tote bags with Loaf on paper branded bags was really dangerous, and I had to have Dave really deliberate with me to decide which one to get. I really love the Very Hungry Caterpillar one as well, but I didn't want to get too many tote bags. I know sometimes that's like a myth to some of you guys, but I try not to go overboard on tote bags, but it's very difficult. They had greeting cards as well, and this particular line of cat greeting cards really made me feel a bit jealous that I hadn't come up with some more cute greeting card designs like this. Live, loaf, love. After abusing Dave's kindness in buying me these things, we went to the cafe for a drink. Dave said that his strawberry matcha was the best he'd ever had. I got the sesame seed latte. From there, we briefly split up so that Dave could go look at records and I could go here to 20-Sided, a game store in Brooklyn. I love going to different game stores when I travel because everyone always has kind of a different selection of RPGs and indie zines, and I had seen online that the store was actually really good about that, so I was excited to shop their selection. They had this interesting looking solo RPG called Bard RPG, and behind it they had a copy of Stew Pot, which I kickstarted. I was really excited to see that they had a great selection of indie RPGs from Stygian Library, Brindlewood Bay, A Land Once Magic, OSR. They had a bunch of these story games over here, like For the Queen, Fog of Love, and Alice is Missing. From this shelf, I can recommend Void, Microscope, Thousand-Year-Old Vampire, and The Librarian's Apprentice, as well as Song of the Scriptworm. And this was their shelf full of Mothership core books and adventures, which I thought was really great because Mothership is a very much beloved sci-fi horror themed indie game. Dave and I met back up at Yoseka Stationery, and this was one of the main points of excitement for me on this trip. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I've probably mentioned Yoseka and how much I love buying from them online, and I was really excited to see their Brooklyn store. Unfortunately, the only day that we could get here was Saturday, and so it was absolutely just crazily crowded. We still did manage to shop, but it was so tight in the store that I felt very rushed and it was hard to find things. The selection was really great, and the way that the store was laid out and things were displayed, I think I would have had a much better time if I had gone on a calmer day so that I could really examine the little details and things. A lot of the items were kind of grouped together like this, which made it difficult to browse, or even if you knew what you were looking for, you weren't quite sure maybe what section or container they put it in. Like, this little drawer had sticky notes like this, but it also had sticky note tabs, stencils, some of the Kita tapes, this pen holder, so it was a little bit difficult to find things. I was most interested in checking out their wonderful selection of fountain pens and inks. However, even though the staff was amazing and they were paying great attention to everybody that they were helping, I just couldn't imagine trying to make a decision or kind of evaluate what I thought in the dense crowd that was around the pens and inks. I'm really sensitive to noise, so I was just so overwhelmed. I actually ended up just going home and ordering a bunch of inks that appealed to me from their online shop. Near the register, they have a really convenient table with all of the Yoseka exclusive or collaboration items here, so I definitely was excited to look at that. I actually already have that green pen with the pen case, and it writes really smoothly. I just wish the body was a little bit thicker so it'd be comfortable to hold for longer. We grabbed dinner out and headed back to the hotel, and this is going to be my biggest haul of the weekend. I'll start off with just the things that I got from Loaf on paper. Of course, I had to get at least one of their charming postcards with the illustration of the storefront on it. I'm also always looking for cute playing cards, and these Last Call cat playing cards were right up my alley. I ended up with 2 tote bags, one of which is this giant cat sleeping on top of their original storefront, and I got a journaling bag pin as well. I got these vintage style writable frame stickers, which I thought were really nice, and also this pack of kind of assorted stickers. I had Dave use some to decorate his Midori MD notebook that he's going to use as a sketchbook, and he put some on the inside as well. I also got a book to use as a sketchbook. It's this notebook Echo in A5 size, and I really loved the color of the cover as well as the feeling of the pages and the nice binding, and just the texture of the cover page is really nice. And I really love how my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils behave on the paper. Dave got his indoor cat sticker, and I got the I'm a Rex sticker. I got these really pretty stickers that look like stamps, and I also got a celestial version, the Milky Way post stickers, which I thought were really cute. I couldn't resist this letterpress print of this grandpa cat writing at his desk. I got another set of these transfer stickers. These are a Moo brand, and they're pretty well known, I think. And they're the same as the ones I got from Daiso. You just use pressure to adhere them to whatever surface. And finally, I just couldn't resist these Tuxie stickers, even though I'm allergic to wine, but it does feature a record player. And I also got these floral, fluffy cat stickers too. From Stumptown, I got these cat and coffee themed playing cards and this Stumptown patch. I love all of the, collage-like pop art style of the cards, and they have this nice linen-y finish to them. I also realized that I didn't show the actual cards from the set that I got from Loaf on paper. I love these vintage style illustrations. I picked up Hometown Holiday from 20-Sided. It's a Hallmark movie themed game for a group, and you basically take on the roles of archetypical characters in a Hallmark holiday movie and try to win the heart of the main love interest, who's the GM. I also picked up another one of these Baldur's Gate 3 treasure packs. I had gotten a few before. Anything with BG3, I'm there, so I wanted to pick up another one, and I actually already have Astarion, but I wanted to show you guys what comes in the Astarion themed treasure pack. It's this cool coin with his scars on it, and then the D20. These are the kitty and whale shark chopstick rests I got from Berry Home. I just love how smooth and, well-shaped they are. And I love the detail of the tabby stripes on the one and the little spot on this other one. And here's a closer look at the whale shark as well. This is the Shinonome Botanical Aroma Incense that I was talking about before. It's by the brand called Kajiha, and I believe they make it in New York. And now for my unexpectedly small haul from Yoseka. I got this very small corner chunk punch, and I had seen a video where someone used it as a way to mark which pages in their commonplace book they had logged in another place or sorted. And since I've been really active in my commonplace journal lately, I really wanted this to do the same. I picked up these cute foiled planner stickers, and I liked the size and the different kind of events and icons on here. The only problem is I did not realize they weren't already kiss cut, so you can't just you have to actually cut them out yourself. Or it looks like they tried to kiss cut it, but it just didn't go all the way through. I also picked up this brass Yoseka charm for the front of your traveler's notebook band. I'm probably going to use it on my A5 traveler's journal from Mansoura Atelier, and I just really love just the quality and iconography on it. I think it's really beautiful. As a person who loves the exact color green that Yoseka uses for their branding, I couldn't resist picking up their traveler's insert, even though I really didn't need another traveler's insert right now. But I love the foil, I love the stationery, I like the fact that it has a cat on it, of course, and I think it's really cool that they do so much in collaboration with Traveler's Company. It had been quite a wonderful trip, but that Sunday was going to be our last day in New York, and so we wanted to take it a little bit easier. So I don't have that much to show from this day, but we decided to head to Percent Arabica, a cafe that we had found in Manhattan when we had come up to New York for a concert. We learned that it was actually a Japanese cafe that had branches in America, and we visited the one in Kyoto when we went on our honeymoon. Stepping inside, we noticed that they had some of their merchandise on offer, which all looks really good quality, and I really like the minimalist percent logo on everything. Even though the cafe was quite a walk from the nearest station, it was still really crowded, and we can definitely tell why. The espresso and the coffee here is really, really good, and there's nothing like a wonderful coffee and maybe a pastry on such a chilly morning. I honestly forgot what kind of pastry this was, but I do remember it being pretty delicious. And of course, we got our normal Kyoto latte with oat milk. The last place I wanted to visit was Brooklyn General Store, and it's obviously a knitting, sewing, and quilting store that has fabric, yarn, and craft notions. And I always love to visit craft stores when I'm traveling just to see what all they have. I loved this rust brown color from Knitting for Olive. And this wall of skeins from different makers was really inspiring. And I really wish that I could have bought a lot more, but I don't really have the time for an extended knitting or crochet project. It was nice to just wander around the store. The way that they had things arranged was really nice because everywhere you looked there was something to dig into, like this crate full of knitting and fiber arts publications. They had all the needles and notions you could need behind the counter. And they even had a nice little selection of washi tape and marking tools here. I was really tempted by these pretty sewing scissors. I should have picked some up. These balls of yarn were so soft. All in all, I had a wonderful time shopping at Brooklyn General Store. I had such a good time on this trip, and Dave got me so many treasures, and I really just loved spending my time here in New York. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking with me for this longer video. And this is going to mark kind of a return to YouTube. My dad had some health issues, and I did as well. Which prevented me from uploading pretty much for the last 2 months. So hopefully from now forward, I'll be a little bit more consistent. Let me know in the comments if you've been to any of these places or if I introduced a new item or store that you'd like to visit. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.